Hello ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching my application to be a caster for the IPL 5 qualifiers. Game I'm going to be casting today is going to be between the Red Terran, spawning at the bottom of Metropolis, LiquidTaeja, and at the top of Metropolis we do have Complexity's Killer, spawning as the Blue Protoss. So we are going to have a TVP here, cross positions on a very large map in Metropolis. And of course, Complexity Killer up here is also known as Songho in the GSL, not to be confused with Dignitas Killer, the foreign player. So it looks like Killer is going to put down his first pylon, of course, not walling off. Very, very typical for a PvT, and he's actually going to scout on 9 and give him a very, very fast scout. Get that information on gas before the Terran can wall off their ramp. Taeja, on the other hand, looks like he is going to put his first supply depot behind his mineral line, so an interesting decision there. Save a little bit of mining time. Get that extra bit of income before starting that barracks. And we'll see where his barracks placement goes down here. Of course, this isn't going to allow him to hide his gas timing. The first one at least. The second one, a Marine, will be out, of course. Unless he did something really crazy that I've never ever seen in my entire life. And it looks like Killer actually threw down that gateway at 12, which is very early. And, you know, just gets your core out a little bit faster, but he does have to cut a probe for a little bit there, so a very, very interesting decision, especially since he scouted so early, and he's going to be, you know, that tiny bit more behind economically, just by a little bit, but who knows, it could turn out to be a small difference that they see and we do not. We do have a gas coming down for Taeja, and of course for Killer, because you can't open with Protoss and not take a gas against any race for the most part. So Taeja looks like he's going to get a little bit of tech out here. We'll see if it's a 2 racks or factory or whatever. But he is going to go for that orbital on 15, which I think is a little bit more uncommon now. I think we typically see it go down to 16, extra SCV coming out. But of course, just a matter of preference. Doesn't actually make that big of a difference. You either get the mule out faster or you don't. And oh, that's very interesting. Taeja puts down that pylon right next to that barracks and makes sure that Taeja cannot get an add-on right away. Looks like he's not going for that add-on anyways, though, as he does have 100 gas already banked, and it looks like we're going to see a factory drop down here at the top right-hand corner of our screens. Second Marine comes out, and third is in production. And Killer can see exactly what Taeja is doing with his barracks right now. He sees the 2 Marines, and he sees a third one in production with that pylon. And, oh man, Taeja doing a great job of keeping that probe out, even though the probe is trying to get in, just to get that little bit of extra information. Scout goes in for Taeja, the Complexity Killer's base, and we do have only 1 gas still. Chrono boosting a lot of probes out, and a Stalker coming up, but no Zealot. So, an interesting decision to save those minerals there. We might see a faster Nexus in that kind of sense after he eliminates the Scout. Probe again trying to come in, but Marine's doing a great job of denying it. We actually have a cut in Marines at 4 here. A little bit of a wall-off going up for Taeja here. And the Starport. So we'll see if this factory drops a tech lab. It does indeed very quickly. So we are definitely going to see at least a Banshee. And that second gas is actually completed. So we are going to see Cloak Banshee most likely. Unless he decides to go for siege tank drops. That would be ridiculous. So we do have a Stalker moving across the map. That Nexus has gone down for Killer here. Second gateway has been added. We should see a third in just a second. Yep, so very, 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 very standard. 1 gate expand. So we should see the second gas come down in a bit. Or possibly that Robo before it. I have seen that before, but a little bit less common. And yeah, we do have that second gas coming down. So Robo should be following this up. Especially since he saw that gas and knows that Banshees are definitely a possibility. And we actually have Cloak and a Banshee on the way already. The Stalker poking up, taking a look at the Marine count, sees there are 3 depots here. Good control from both players. Not really losing anything, not losing too much health on anything on accident. Of course, these are very, very professional players, so we would expect that. But, you know, it's always very, very awesome to see them control their units just so perfectly all the time. We have a 6 Marine push out here from Taeja. This is a little bit peculiar. Let's take a look at his vision real quick and see what he saw. It looks like he didn't see a Nexus come down. Killer's build, of course, was a little bit indicative of a 1 gate expand, and that is the metagame right now. But, you know, one Stalker's going to be able to kite these out for a little while, I think, with good control. Taeja doing a good job backing off and trying to force that Stalker into a position it doesn't want to be in. Taking a little bit of shield off there, and Oh, that probe sees that Banshee. That Robo is almost completed. I'm sure we'll see an Observer Chrono Boosted out right away. 3 Stalkers being warped in at home instantaneously. And he shouldn't take too much damage from this. The Stalker actually coming around, and Cloak is not quite done yet, so he cannot jump straight into the battle here. But down at Taeja's main, we do have a command center coming up at the Natural. And a reactor finishing up on the barracks. Nothing really coming out of that factory quite yet. Looks like the Banshee does come in. The Killer sees it, but of course does not have that Observer out quite yet. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It just came out now. And I think it's got 3 kills now. 4 kills, so not a terrible Banshee. Oh, that's right. It did kill that probe in the middle of the map, so we should have 4 or 5 workers killed. 4 workers killed there. And looks like Killer is sitting on 3 gases. Still just those 3 gates, adding on 2 more now, going up to 5 gates and a Robo. Whereas we have Taeja throwing down a bunker at the front. Still no tech on any of his barracks units. He actually has thrown down a tech lab on his factory. So we may actually see him go Siege Tank Marine here, or who knows, maybe something weird like Mech. But he is making that first Siege Tank now. Actually has 2 Banshees out and a 3rd one now completed. First Observer for Killer is already at Taeja's main. Taking a look here, we'll see everything basically. There's really no detection in Taeja's base, and he doesn't really have the Marines to come up here and leave his front unvulnerable. Though he does have pretty good map control with these guys, so he's checking everything out. Taeja, in the meantime, has moved his 2 Banshees in and is just trying to keep those units active. Killer doing a good job of spreading. Well, he just kept 1 Stalker back here, which is actually not going to be enough to stop 2 Banshees. But that's okay, because he is denying space a little bit. It will keep Taeja from killing any workers early without target fire. And yeah, supply is pretty even right now, 69 to 73. Let's take a look at the harvester count. It's actually 42 to 39. So Taeja doing a great job. Typically, our Protoss players are pretty far ahead right now, due to the mule count and due to Chrono Boost, but even with that relatively slow expansion from Taeja compared to Killer, Taeja in a very good position SCV wise, and he actually has a 3rd command center completed, turned into an orbital. Killer, on the other hand, does have his robotics bay finishing up, and double forge is coming down, so a lot of tech is going up here. We have our first Colossus on the way. We should see Thermal Lance start. Yes, just a second. Looks like he was a little bit mineral blocked, and we're going to have +1/+1 come down at the same time, and I'm sure we're going to see a Twilight Council follow this up, as we have a 3rd coming down as well. So, yeah, this really is turning into the macro game I thought it would. Very, very cool to see. On Taeja's side, we do have Stim on the way. No combat shield started quite yet. Does have +1 on the way as well, so he will be getting his upgrades in due time, but at the moment, not going to be nearly as fast with only 1 engineering bay, and then he's going to have to add on that armory, spend all that gas. Does have his 4th gas taken, though. So up at the top left here, we actually have 4 Banshees, and that is a lot of TPS. 2 Stalkers not going to be able to hold that. With the cannon, it will be a lot closer, but we'll see exactly how this goes. And yeah, they killed those 2 Stalkers off very quickly. 1 Banshee going down to about half health here. Killer having to pull all of his probes away, actually. And Cloak now going down. Where is the closest observer? I do not know. Killer definitely losing some mining time. Oh, observer is up here, and these 5 Stalkers do chase them off. They do kill 1 Banshee, but let's take a look at the units lost tab real quick. We do have Killer losing a ton more resources here than Taeja. Taeja still has not moved his 3rd out quite yet, though, and Killer's 3rd is done. So now Harvester count still 60 to 60, very, very, very even. We have Vikings coming out for Taeja. We have more barracks being added on. We have Combat Shield on the way. And, oh man, a Templar Archives for Killer already. So both players going very, very quickly into their tech trees here. I cannot believe at the 13-minute mark we're going to have Colossus and High Templar tech. That's actually incredibly fast. So, looks like Killer has finished up his 5th and 6th gases at his 3rd base. Getting a little bit of supply blocked here, actually. He has no pylons in production. Okay, well now one's coming up, but he's going to miss a couple warping rounds there. And it looks like Taeja is moving out to take his next base. So, Siege Tank, Marine, Marauder, Viking, Banshee, Raven is what we have right here. And it looks like we have a little strike force moving out. This is actually pretty cool. So we have Banshees, Vikings, and Ravens. And I see this every once in a while from a mech player I know. But this is bio with a starport opening basically. And as you just saw there, that observer got taken out by the 2 Vikings because the Raven gave them vision, doesn't have to scan, and now he's got energy for 2 PDDs. PDDs. I don't know how I can't say that clearly. And that's going to be enough to really put a damper on this. I mean, there's only 5 Stalkers back here. We'll see. 1 point defense drone does go down. These Stalkers immediately back off, knowing that is a fight they don't want to be in. Observer goes down. There is another one back here. I'm just not sure if Killer can get away from this without taking too much damage here. These Banshees picking off probes one at a time very quickly. And, well, Killer just kind of accepting that neither of them really want to engage at this point. That point defense drone still at the back of the base here. Supplies now showing 171 to 147, so Taeja actually taking a significant lead here in the supplies. It's 166 to 166 166? 66 to 66 harvesters here. And Storm is going to complete. I mean, we have Colossus, we have High Templar, we could have Archons in a couple of minutes here. This is going to get slowly going to get worse and worse. For a Terran player tech-wise, I don't think he has any ghosts in production. Yeah, that's correct. He just started his Ghost Academy here. He's going for a double drop, though, with, oh man, this same Air Force. And this Air Force, again, is really threatening. So, we'll see how much damage he can do back here. He's dropping in a pretty empty location, so he's going to have to move quite a ways to defend, or to really do any damage. And, yeah, 3 Colossus come up. 1 Colossus may go down, though. No, it takes a lot of health damage, even getting through the shields. Taeja gets up and leaves. And now supply is really kind of starting to even out, 181 to 191. And of course, as a Terran player, you really don't want to hit max. You want to move out. Basically, you want to get into combat as you max, so that your production is still going the whole time. As soon as your production starts to back up a little bit, you have to add on all those more barracks, and the production time starts over. Whereas for our Protoss player here, well, we've got a battle in the middle of the map. And these Colossus dealing a lot of hurt, but these Vikings in really good position are getting taken out by these Stalkers, but the Stalkers focusing the Banshees first. Storms going down on the army of Taeja. And again, supply is very even here. Everything just backing off. Ooh, getting a lot of his Zealots in that Storm, but still okay. The upgrades are 2-2 to 2-1 here in our Protoss player's favor. He's going to have to run away because that is a lot of reinforcements. A lot of Marauders, too. Alright, so Killer actually going to lose his last Colossus here at the tower, leaving some units behind to, let the rest of his units escape here. And the Storm's going to be able to hold out for a while. He's actually taking a 4th base. Killer is at the right-hand side here, making more Colossus. Actually going for War Prism speed here. Do we have a Prism on the field? We do not have one on the way. There's not one on the field. I'm sure he's planning on making one, though. That doesn't seem like a mistake you would see very often. And actually, oh, this is really cool. Taeja taking this 4th here in the middle of the map between the 2 players. And this is going to give him a launching pad to really attack from. I kind of would like to see a planetary there, as that would give him a much more defensible location to fall back to if he loses any battles. But it looks like you're going to have a huge stim coming into the 4th of Killer. Forces to cancel on a lot of those reinforcing units, but it looks like the units are going to get up here anyways. Not a lot of Stalkers in this army. Oh, but these medevacs have such low health, and one actually gets picked off that was full, so that definitely is a loss for Taeja. But he does have a supply lead still. 76 to 66 workers right now in Killer's favor. Taeja stopping at a good number, it seems. Putting up a 5th command center even. Both players starting to float a little bit. Really need to increase that production just a tiny bit here. They've really been just exploding into bases at the same time, basically. We have +3/+3 on the way for both players here. Killers is actually going to finish quite a bit before Taeja, so he might have a little bit of a timing here, but he really needs to get that supply up. Maybe add on more Colossus just to force Vikings, but maybe not, because there are already 6 on the field kind of blindly. even though Killer does not have that many. So we're going to have to see some great storms here. There are ghosts, and of course we're going to have that infamous Ghost versus High Templar battle. Always cute to see who gets the first shots off. And, oh, that was a little bit of a waste of a storm. I think there were only like 5 units there, and he wouldn't have killed them if they had moved away right away anyways. But looks like we have Killer taking a 5th base now. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. Planetary going up on the very left-hand side at Taeja's 5th. And, well, at this point, I mean, it's getting a little bit close. This is the kind of fight where at any point in time either player could just run away with it if they get a decisive victory in one battle. We'll have to see though. Looks like Killer is going to move across. Does he know about this 4th over here? He does not. Okay, so he's going to take the right hand side tower, and that is going to give him vision. And what does he decide to do here? He's only got 1 sentry in this whole army, just enough for that Guardian Shield to reduce the damage by 2. So smart to at least have 1 in your army at all times. He's got to pop that before the EMPs go off though, and there are just so many units that can't get EMP'd in this army. It would be so bad. Alright, well, looks like on the left-hand side we do have Taeja's army moving down. And, of course, Killer can't have that same vision. He can't scan ahead. He has to sacrifice observers or zealots to get vision of what his opponent is doing exactly. And, oh, this Warp Prism is going to move over the army. Does it have High Templar in here or something? Oh, my God, it does. But he actually doesn't drop them. He just moves it with his army backwards. And, oh, my God, this is such a large Terran army. 150 to 180 supply. No more storms. And it looks like Taeja's just going to clean this up super easily. Only 1 Colossus for AoE in this entire army besides the Archons. Killer falling back on his heels. 90 supply to 156. Taeja just stimming him is going to kill all the infrastructure almost instantaneously. 10 High Templar being warped in at the same time. Natural about to fall. All of these gateways of the Natural have already gone down, taking away a lot of Killer's ability to re-max here. Stream of units starting to come across the map. A ton of ghosts included in that. And Killer gives out the GG.